Chuck is 1 pound over. Number 2, Judicial Restraint, is a Ridgeling. And number 5, Tactician, is 4 pounds over. In race 5, jockey change on the 1, Douse's Beach, to Tyler Gaffleone. Tyler Gaffleone on the 1. Scratch 1A, Chateau. 1X, I Love Lulu. And 2B, Shamrocked. Scratch 1A, 1X, and 2B out of the 5th. 6th race, jockey change. The 1A, Little Red Frog, to Jose Lascano. Jose Lascano rides the 1A, Little Red Frog. Scratch number 7, Lake Chico. Scratch the 7, and more changes to come in the 6th. The 7th race is the Smart and Fancy Overnight Stakes, and there are no changes. In the 8th race, jockey change on the 3, One-Eye Jack, to Jose Ortiz. Jose Ortiz rides the 3. Scratch number 5, Creative Style. Scratch the 5. And in the 9th race, a jockey change on the 4, Momi Momai, to Tyler Gaffleone. Tyler Gaffleone rides the 4, Momi Momai, in the 9th. Main track fast, turf courses firm. Jackpot carryover in the Empire 6 of $32,498. We'll come back at 12:30 to recap the changes. Today's first race post is at 1:10. Coming up next, the Thursday edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling, Anthony Stabile.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Water. I'm Andy Serling, Anthony Stabile. To my left, to be joining us in just a moment. Well, we're getting some showers right now, but fortunately it doesn't appear that we're getting the worst of it. So right now we are fast and we are firm, and we're anticipating being on the turf. Obviously, it's the Adirondacks. You never know if that could change, but the forecast is not as dire as it once was. So we're hopeful we'll be able to get through today's card. Anthony and I will throw out some ideas for off the turf in case some races come off. But right now, everything looks good to go. It's Thursday, and of course we head into what would have been Travers weekend, but I tell you, it's a terrific card on Saturday. Excellent running of the Forgo and stakes throughout the day. I believe there are 4 stakes on the card, and while it's not Travers Day, it's still a terrific 11-race card. I know people are taking a look at that card as well. And of course, we still have 10 days of racing left here at Saratoga, and you know, if you're playing Saratoga, you're playing the races anywhere, you should be playing through Naira Bet, supporting racing in New York.
Free play up to 20 with $25 up to $200 deposit match. The promo code just 9 days away. Derby 25. Get that free play, $25 play over at NairaBets.com. What else we got, Steve? We have the hit and split. I got $27.40 last Thursday. By the way, for this $200 hit and split, that's the late pick 5 today. You got to play it on the app, and I am living proof. $27.40 on top of $4.60 last week, I believe.
Yep. You split it with anyone that through Naira Bets that plays through the app. The Sunday contests, of course, they $250 buy-in, $2,500 seeded pool. We will seed those pools with $2,500, all cash prizes.
2 left.
Register now at Naira.com/challenge. Only 2 left, as Anthony correctly pointed out. And you can always watch our races on Saratoga Live. Go to Naira.com/Saratoga Live to get the details of when and where we will be appearing. We're always on the Naira YouTube page. Anthony?
Good morning.
How are you?
So I talked to the guys about this. Our fearless cameraman, John Kakame's walking in. Day 31, we walked onto the set with rain. I think we all would have signed the contract for that. You and I got caught up in here for a few minutes last week when that rain came through, but we did not walk onto the set until today, August 27th. It's all blurred.
Hardly a lot of rain. It was like a sprinkle.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, just an amazing, pretty good run. First 3 quarters of the meet. Did not walk onto the set with rain, have had very little rain.
We didn't have that last year either, Anthony.
No.
We really didn't have a lot. I mean, I think we'd lost 10 turf races up until today. There are some showers falling, but we'll get into today's card and talk about today's races. The first race today, I want to show you the first part of After Prom Party's race because the chart is incorrect. After Prom Party is the number 10 in this race, and you're going to see that after breaking sort of a step slow, she is on the pace until they hit the top of the stretch. She's in those blue silks, and you're seeing her moving up right now into second. So while the second call in the running line is correct, that fifth 4.5 behind, and I'm sure this is I tell you the truth, I didn't look at the chiclets when I watched the replay.
Okay.
It's probably a Trackus error where the chiclet got lost, but I don't know how much it matters. I think it matters only in that you can anticipate the number 4 After Prom Party being forwardly placed in this race because she has speed just like she did 2 races back. I'm not her biggest fan. I picked her second. I thought she's kind of the horse to beat of the horses that ran, but I just wanted to make sure people were aware that that running line in the chart is inaccurate.
Yeah, she showed some speed, like you said. I still don't think she'll be in front of Imperio D. He'll be in front of Imperio D, who found just an enormous amount of speed. I mean,
you don't think he'll be in front of who?
Imperio D. I think they kind of realized that this horse does his best running when he is aggressively ridden.
Okay, that's fine, but you have to keep in mind when you see 21-4 in a 6.5 furlong race, it's not the 21-4 at 6. There's a long run-up in our 6.5 furlong races, and it'll create a much faster first quarter than you'll see in the 6s and 7s. So 21-4 is probably 22-1, 22-2. It's still quick, but I don't think people should get caught up in thinking this horse was that fast.
No, I understand that. I just think they realize overall that when he is aggressively ridden, right, his 3 best races, best finishes, he has to be. You got to jack him out of there. I don't know if
he's
I
0
really
for 10.
Yeah.
And I mean, the last race he was in was an extraordinarily hungry group.
It was.
And his performance was dismal.
It was. It was not a good bunch. The horse that won, I believe, was 0 for 14 going in. Bank Gala came out with a maiden win. So Brunate had plenty of chances. Brunate had plenty of chances as well. You and I just did what we both, I think, kind of thought made sense here and just took first-time starters. We took 2 different ones. But
is there a tip from Eddie Barker on Laddie's Boy? No tip at all, Ladies Boy?
No tip at all.
Okay.
No tip at all. I just went with Eddie. You know, Eddie doesn't run a lot of firsters. In the last year and a half, he's run 8. He is 1 for 8.
You just
that
missed it.
one day, I saw that one.
The
one debuted for a tag. So 1 for 3 debuting with a tag. 1 for 8 overall. So, you know, and Eddie's the kind of guy.
He's actually 2 for 7 over the last 5 years, $1.59 ROI, 3 in the money, which suggests that if this horse is live, this horse will be bet. As you know, Eddie likes to tell people when he likes his horses.
He does.
And he's often right, by the way. I'm not making fun of him. I mean, Eddie's optimistic, but his horses usually run when he likes them.
I can't imagine. Now, we have almost an hour and a half until post. I have to imagine this board is going to be similar to the way it looks now. I think some horses will move around, but I don't think you're going to see a huge outlier on the tote board as far as a long shot or a heavy favorite.
Well,
I just don't see it.
That may well be the case.
Yeah.
But let's just take a look and see how much money is actually in the win pool right now.
Probably not. It's probably $11,000.
No, there's $1,603. So the board right now is absolutely meaningless.
But what I'm saying to you is, do you think there's anybody in here that's completely hopeless, or anybody in here you can completely rely on? Because I don't. I don't see either extreme.
Yeah, I think that Never Hold Back will be surprising at 5-1. I'll tell you right now, if the number 5 Never Hold Back is 5-1, then I would bet the horse for sure. Rick Schosberg used to be a tremendous trainer with firsters. I'm going to go with my man Gary Gullo. But you know, by the way, let me just say something about Ladies Boy, who I would use as well, especially the horses live. So there's after some runners. I mean, Samba Sky is in the family, so there are some runners. This has some better. I mean, Revolutionary, I don't know what he's going to be effective as. He's one of the 436 stallions that Todd Pletcher trained. Let's see how many Todd Pletchers there are in here. Actually, we got a Rick Dutrow. We got a Bill Mott. We got a Owen Hardy, I believe, trained
Got
Desert
a John
Party.
Forbes.
Got a John Forbes.
How about that one?
Steve Asmussen trained Posse.
I want to say yes.
And Majestic City, I don't know. I know who bought the most expensive one. As far as
Majestic City might have been Steve too, no?
No, I can't. You may be right. I just don't remember.
I don't remember.
Posse Condisco. Laura Condisco, first fall from Laura Condisco, who was actually a reasonably fast sprinter on both turf and dirt. You know I love Gary, so thought this horse could be live. Not. It's a guess here. It's like you, total guess. Don't have any information in here. You know, I don't know. I'm wondering what Majestic View is going to do in this race on the rail. I mean, this horse did not break, broke a step slow and got nowhere close and does have blinkers on. And I know it's Benji Hernandez, but, you know, you talk about the speed of the horse on the outside. Aren't you a little scared that Majestic View could come blasting off in here? This is the fastest horse in the race.
I'm going to be using...
And this horse could be the speed if he breaks.
I'm on a spread in the early pick 5, and I'm definitely going to use this horse, drop into the lowest level of his career. He gets the blinkers on, and his first 2 races, he showed plenty of speed. So
yeah, I thought he was the dangerous one to blast
and kind of
off
under
in this
the
race.
gun from the inside, right? You'd have to imagine with the blinkers and the rail draw, kind of just want to get him out of there.
Has to go, right?
Yeah.
I don't disagree. And the blinkers on, obviously, an indication. A lot of guessing in race number 1. Firsters and horses with experience that don't exactly jump
for
off
a bottom
the page
level state bred maiden. It's an interesting race.
I agree with you. I do agree. Race number 2 at 1 mile and 3/16. We'll go to the replay center, and we'll take a look at all others follow. Losing to a first-time starter for Klarovich, the rain looked like it was stopping, and now it just picked up. Yeah, at the rate we're going with the rain, I'd be a little concerned about some of the turf races. So we'll talk about this race in dirt in case it should come off. This was a very good effort for a horse that had kind of stunk up the joint at short prices in his prior 2 starts.
Yeah, had the inside trip. You mentioned the Klarovich first. They're getting the job done. Had the inside trip. You know, I don't know if this horse just kind of raced herself into shape. Maybe the blinkers helped. That was first-time blinkers last time. You know, Chad Brown's kind of feeling his way through this one. Debuted at Tampa, stretched out immediately to 1.25 miles at Belmont, down to Monmouth for the equipment change. Horse jumps 10 buyer speed figures from the Belmont race at 1.25 miles.
Also had more speed down at Monmouth. Was a different horse at Monmouth.
Different horse. Now, was it the blinkers? Was it the supposed class relief? What was it? I don't know what it was. I'm going to give her one more chance.
I've had enough.
Okay.
Her last race was good. She runs it. She's going to win. I do think that given what we're getting in rain, it won't be unlikely if this comes off. And obviously, if this race should come off the turf, the horse we'll look at here, Prairie Wings, who could win on the turf as well.
Yeah.
But on the dirt, Prairie Wings will be about 2-5 in this race, and she'll likely win. I don't like Prairie Wings on the turf. She had absolutely no excuse to lose this race, crawling on the front end, and I would go elsewhere on the turf.
Yes,
not looking good.
An absolute crawl fest. Luis Saez did an amazing job trying to nurse her through the last 1/8 of a mile here, and she just got run down very, very late in the game. Like you, I don't know how much I want her on the turf. We both have her third, but how much do you really want her? If she was going to get the job done on the turf, you feel like it almost had to be the last time.
I don't like her at all on the turf. I mean, I put her third. She could win, but I wouldn't bet her. She should have won her last race. I know she lost the favor. The favor came from last. It is pouring out, so people realize. And Prairie Wings on the dirt. For people that are interested, my picks if this race comes off the turf are 2, 4, 1, 3. Any of them remaining. I like Witch Moon for Graham Motion. I think ran in a better field last time. Probably needed that start. I'm hoping because Graham is optimistic the horse will appreciate more distance. I thought this was an interesting alternative, the 6 All Others Follow. So I would lean on the 3 Witch Moon and the 6 All Others Follow. Excuse me, on the dirt, I would single Prairie Moon. Yeah. Okay, right now, races 3 and 7 are still on the turf. Races 2, all the other scheduled dirt races, turf races are now off the turf. So 3 and 7 will remain on the turf. Races 2, let's take a look.
5 and 6?
There's 6 turf races. 2, 5, 6, and 9 are all going to be off the turf. No surprise. It's been pouring for a good 15 minutes right now. So, guys, I don't know, Anthony, did you give them dirt picks?
I did not. Did you?
Of course I did.
Okay.
As anyone that checks the website knows.
Well, I did not. I did not.
So Anthony is not going to, please let's not post any dirt picks for Anthony for the turf races off the turf, and I'll put up my dirt picks if you guys can.
I have some stuff there, so why don't we take a break now, and I'll get them to the guys.
Why don't we take a break after race number 4?
All right, do what you gotta
because
do.
Race number 4 is a dirt race, and race number
works.
3 is a turf race that's
Yes,
still on the turf.
This is
my
why
picks for this race are 2, 4, 1, 3. Would you agree that you like Prairie
I'm
Wings?
2 and 1. Yes, 2-1 would be for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Race number 3 on the turf. We'll take a look at Seismic Wave and Value Proposition running 2-3 in the thing. And we can use our picks for this race, guys, as it does remain on the turf. I know Seismic Wave beat Value Proposition. I think Value Proposition got caught in a tough spot in that race. I think he'll be more forwardly placed in a race that has very little speed. And I think Value Proposition, as I'm assuming you agree, is very much the one to beat.
Yes, he's going to get John Velasquez as well. Rod Ortiz Jr. not riding today after that incident in the starting gate yesterday. X-rays were negative, according to Brother Jose on Twitter. So, but the rider will be off his mounts today. John Velasquez picks up the call on Value Proposition. We saw this race very, very similarly. Yeah, he's a little faster than these horses. Last time he kind of had that in-between trip where what was he supposed to do last time? He kind of got caught in no man's land.
The race became problematic because they too much rated Dream Friend.
Dream Friend.
If they had let Dream Friend roll, he probably would have had a better chance, and the race would have been run in a more fair manner, and Value Proposition wouldn't have moved too soon, and frankly, Seismic Wave wouldn't have moved too soon.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is that if Seismic Wave, if Joel had waited longer, probably would have won. Now, I don't blame Joel, but the reason he would have won is because he would have kept Social Paranoia blocked. Are you at all concerned that Seismic Wave didn't run a step in the Baruch?
Yes. I am concerned. He was awful.
Came back too fast, maybe?
I think it was a combination, just 22 days, and the fact that no real pace in there early on kind of just got him shuffled out. I mean, he was last by a pretty long ways when something like a Hot Brown was setting a pretty moderate pace that afternoon. So, yeah, the combination of coming back quick and not really getting a good setup, I think, really hurt his chances last time out.
I don't disagree. Now, Empire of War, we'll take a look at the last start. He's not as good as these horses, and it's not particularly close. We'll look at this race down at Keeneland when he finished ahead of Morocco, his stablemate, or his uncoupled stablemate. But doesn't he look to be the controlling speed in here? Does that concern you at all? Especially on a course that's going to have some give in it.
And that's the key. See, to me, that could very well be the key. This horse has won 3 times in his career. Good, yielding, good. All 3 of his wins have come on ground with giving it. And now he's going to be the controlling.
It was a short price in those races.
He was.
Those races were not as, his firm turf races are better than his good turf. So I wouldn't want to say he's particularly better, but he handles it. It's not like he's a horse. He ran a big figure 2 back, right?
Yeah, but I think the figure last time, which was his best, came on the ground with some giving it.
A little bit of
and that was Keeneland, where they had. I think this horse.
He's got
a little
low
bit better
figures
when he
on
gets to
yielding.
wet.
He's not, Anthony.
Okay,
but he's not.
But you're giving me. Hold on. So he's running.
He's not.
He's running a few points lower as a 2-year-old on yielding ground.
He's running the
than
same figures he's running on firm
as a
turf.
4-year-old on firm
He's running
ground?
the same races on firm turf he runs on.
We're
Handles it.
We're going to disagree. We're going to disagree there.
Anyway. I'd like to find 5 other people that believe this horse improves on turf that has given it.
Okay.
He handles it, but he doesn't show he improves.
Okay. His 2 biggest numbers are on wet turf. You got that, though, right?
Right.
And his
they're very
3 wins
similar.
are on wet turf.
Right, and they're very similar. You want to go with 1 point, works for you. How about some of his worst numbers are on turf? His worst number is on yielding turf at Aqueduct. His worst
number is
His worst number is on yielding turf at Aqueduct.
On the day.
So he may not handle it at all, actually.
Yeah.
He might not be able to handle it.
He's probably terrible on
Well, but his worst turf figure by far is on yielding turf.
You know what the other thing with this horse is? This horse gets better with a race under his belt. And he not only ran well off the break last time, which was not a big one, but if he trends the same way, he's trending to run a big race today because he got the job done off of a little bit of a rest last time. So he might be ready for his best effort to date today.
Would you disagree, though, with the notion that the only real chance he has is
he's got to go to the lead.
Controlling speed?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably not.
All the other stuff is sort of
He's probably not as talented as Value Proposition and Seismic
or Monarch's
Wave.
Glen, or perhaps Sentry.
Yeah,
or
but
Sonic Wave.
He would need
maybe Sand Dancer, but it's not even clear.
You don't give up what looks to be your advantage.
He has to go to the lead here.
And Tyler knows that, and Tyler definitely, and I have confidence that he will put him on the lead.
I do too. Race number 4 at a mile and an 1/8. We both gone to favor judicial restraint in this race.
Yeah.
Got any thoughts?
Exactly. Ran him special weight first time out, didn't do much running. Came back in that Fried Rice King race where Fried Rice King just blew the doors off those maiden claimers.
Why do you think he'll be better today?
He gets the blinkers. Well, he's bitonalist. I'm hoping that more distance is going to help this horse. And,
a 16th of a mile?
Yeah. And the fact that...
Well, more distance actually hurt him. He ran a worse figure at a mile 16th than he ran a mile, right?
He puts the blinkers on. I just think he's going to be better stretching out. And I mean, really, where are the alternatives?
Well, the alternative is height. And we'll look at height and Tactician. What happened to Tactician last time? Was it the horse? Was it David? I mean, he was like all over the place. What was going on with him?
He looked like a tired horse late in.
He was awful. Look at him.
But he looks,
look at him.
He's
what was going
flopping
on
back
here?
and forth, and he just looks like he's really, really tired.
I thought he couldn't lose last time. He was horrendous.
I put him third, but, man, he certainly looks
second.
like the last 3/16 of a mile. He's struggling with the ground. My problem with height is I felt like for 3/16 of a mile, he was going to run by Bonfina.
I agree.
And he never did. And I don't want to indict him off the one race.
How do you pronounce it? It's not Bonafina? How do you pronounce it?
Bonafina.
Bonafina? Okay.
Yeah. Buona.
I'm trying to work on my Italian. I'm trying to make myself a better person here. It is Italian, right?
It is Italian, yes.
You're Italian, aren't you?
Mostly, yes. I just thought this horse got a little tired last time. I put him third.
I put him second. I thought you could. I could never bet the 4 in here. He might win. He could absolutely win.
I know.
He should have won last time.
Should have won last time. I don't disagree. But you know what? And again, in his defense, that was his first time going along. And you could say the same thing for Tactician. The difference is at least height was still digging and trying, where Tactician was just flopping and all over the place.
What about Corkman?
Yeah, I know he ran him.
You like Mischief Afoot.
I do.
Won that maiden race. It's
I
fine.
do.
I'm not saying he can't win, but
I do.
I mean, arguably, he seems to be a bit improved, and that was just a field he had no chance in last time.
Yeah, I don't know what
I don't love him, but I didn't think it was. Listen, because the problem in this field is
isn't his best race the sprint?
Who do you want in this race?
I think the problem with me. I think his best race is the sprint.
I don't. I don't think it's the same as everything. I think his last race. I don't know. I thought his last race was okay. It's not none of them are that.
Yeah.
I'm being made fun of for wearing a sweater. It's cold.
It's August. Whoever's making fun of you.
Let me ask you a question.
Whoever's making fun of you.
Which one of us was too cold to stay outside last night?
I didn't finish my cigar last night.
Okay,
Which one of us was sitting out there in shorts, a flip-flop, and a short sleeve surfer?
So the real question is which one of us is an idiot?
Who went to dinner with a sweater on last night?
No, I didn't have a sweater. I had a fleece and a jacket.
And a jacket. Well, I sat at Prime in shorts and a short sleeve shirt.
Okay, so you're an idiot.
I'm
been
not an
confirmed.
idiot. I'm
Well, I don't know. There seems to be some.
Kaka's
Kaka
laughing.
seems to agree.
The fashion plate.
Anyhow,
John Kaka's laughing
you think
at me.
this is fun? We've still got 5 left. Take a quick break. Anthony's going to get his off the turf ideas together, and we'll be right back.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringWater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Thanks for your patience, and thanks for staying with us here on Talking Horses. Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling. Talking Horses presented by our good friends at Saratoga Water, and we really do appreciate their great support here on Talking Horses. For those that didn't hear, it's pouring out. We are on the turf for races 3 and 7. We are off the turf for the other scheduled turf races. I know it still says fast and firm. That's going to be inaccurate. I know the track's, I'm sure, sealed, but we're not going to be fast and firm. What we're going to be, I don't know at this point, because it is raining, and it's been raining quite a bit for about half an hour at this point, maybe 25 minutes. Anyhow, race number 5 off the turf. Unfortunately, the MTOs were scratched out of this race. It's very hard to know who's still going to be in. You're going to try Duncastle in here, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm just going to try and bottom the field out with Duncastle in here. Like you said, Andy, and look, this was supposed to miss us for the most part, the big stuff. Unfortunately, it did not. So the main track onlys come out. And with the main track onlys came Chateau, came I Love Lulu, Horses That Have Speed. For the dirt, Duncastle, to me, looks like he's the last one standing as far as the speed goes on the dirt. Gets the bug boy Louis Cardenas. All he's got to do, I think, is put this horse on a lead. Look, maybe he can't run on dirt, but he certainly appears to have a tactical advantage on paper. He finished 3rd in his lone start with on a wet track. Hopefully he can just take him gate to wire. Preamble makes most sense, though.
On a wet track. Okay. Anyhow, we don't know who's going to scratch and stay in. It appears to me that Preamble lays over this field. He's actually gotten his form back together. He's going to be a substantial favorite in here and is far and away the likeliest winner. And I understand what you're saying about Duncastle, but Preamble's not slow, and he's a very likely winner. But I don't think that Dirty should be dismissed. Anybody that looks at lifetime PPs will realize that Dirty in his debut finished 2nd on closing day up here a few years ago on a sloppy or muddy sealed track behind a horse named Entice, the first foal from It's Tricky, who went on to win stake races for Kieran McLaughlin. I think he won the Gotham. That's right.
Yes, and then he was involved in the inquiry with Vino Rosso in the Wood Memorial.
Oh, yeah, he should have been put up. Right. Yeah, he actually should have been put up in the Wood Memorial. I forgot about that. That's right. So he has run well on the dirt. Now, obviously, he's been more on the turf, but I think that Jeremiah Englehart will leave Dirty in. And don't disregard, it's always good to look back. And one of the great things about Formulator or other products is being able to look at a lifetime PPs, and you can see that 2nd, even though it shows a 62 fig, it was a career debut behind an eventual stakes winner. Race number 6. I actually think race number 6 is a better race off the turf than it was in the turf. While I think More Mango was an absolute cinch in this race on the turf, on the dirt, there's a lot more players in here, and we'll start out with your top selection, the number 2, Leave You With a Smile, and we'll show the last race sources off the claim from Danny Gargan for Linda Rice. Coming back on very short rest.
Coming back on very short rest. Remains to be seen if this horse is even lifted. Now, this horse is at Saratoga, having won up here just a week ago. So I don't think we'll worry about this horse coming out. Also entered with Mosienko, who comes out of the same race. Mosienko was entered for turf, but would be surprised if this horse came out as well. I think the entry is potent here. I kind of like both of them. Leave You With a Smile showed a lot more speed in her last 2 starts, and I think she'll be forward. Mosienko coming from out the back. I think it's a potent entry.
Yeah, I don't see Mosienko at all. I don't think that she's competitive in this race. I think Leave You With a Smile is obviously very dangerous. Keep in mind the 1-mile races at all ages go to 7 furlongs. Mile and a 16th for 2-year-olds would cut back. Mile and a 16th for olders, go to a mile and an 1/8, and 5.5, stay 5.5. I know that Glass Ceiling has obviously been disappointing for Danny Gargan, and he drops in for a tag. Now, keep in mind, Danny Gargan claimed Glass Ceiling for $40,000, so it's not as though he's taking some massive hit. And the reality is that Danny's realized this horse is not going to win a non-winners of 1, especially around here. Now, maybe if he sits and waits for the winter, he could find a non-winners of 1 he's competitive in. But in the meantime, if he's going to wait 6 months to run this horse, it's going to cost him a lot of money to be there. So he's running the horse where he can win. And I just think that Glass Ceiling actually didn't run that badly against an extraordinarily tough. I mean, that's about as tough a non-winners of 1 as you can find. And I think Glass Ceiling is a very likely winner of this race. I have no knock on the 2, Leave You With a Smile, but she does have to get 7 furlongs and come back in that short rest. And let's be honest, she wasn't in against the toughest field last time.
Very similar conditions for Glass Ceiling. Now the track's going to have some more moisture in it, but when she ran for a tag last time, it was off a little bit of a layoff. She ran for 75,000 in an off-the-turf race, and she got the money down at Gulfstream Park. Obviously, a lot more moisture could be in this racetrack, but I think it is worth noting that she won the last time she was in for the tag under similar conditions and going the 7 furlong distance.
It is absolutely pouring out for anybody that can't hear the rain. Talk about some other horses in here, just since we have the time. Flashing Red, I don't know if Flashing Red's impossible off the claim. I actually think Flashing Red ran pretty well last time. Obviously a much tougher spot. But Flashing Red was taken out of her game, and I thought she could be okay in here as another horse. I mean, I'm mostly 2s and 4s. You've got the 8-second make or break.
Yeah.
Not impossible getting back.
Not
Has
impossible.
one race. Has one race.
A couple of turf races to around 2 turns, cutting back now to the 1 turn on the dirt. Obviously not by design.
All right. Race number 7, if the monsoon continues and race number 7 comes off the turf, it'll be a 1-horse race, and the 6 introduced will be about 1 to 9 in this race. There's just nobody in here that has any dirt form whatsoever.
We can agree on that, I can tell you that.
On the turf in here, race number 7. So you're just going to guess with the Team Valor horse Victory Kingdom?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Pretty much so. Like you said, it's a guess. Now we talk about kitchen sinks, ordinarily not good, blinkers on, Lasix. We get the rain, so she is accustomed to running on courses like she's going to encounter today down under.
Sloppy and soft, yep.
Yep, sloppy and soft, okay. So there you go. So everything's changed. You know, Andy.
I mean, this horse doesn't look very good to me. I know the horse they shipped, I think the Euro yesterday, the last race, finished a close second. But what about this horse seems particularly good? I mean, I know that the sprinters in Australia are strong. I mean, to be fair, they're good. I don't have a lot of indication. I mean, getting the Lasix, I do think it's interesting this horse getting Lasix because Team Valor makes a lot of comments about that, right? But
exactly. Well, exactly. I did find that.
This horse is just a maiden breaker,
and it also leads me to believe. See, I think you touched on the most important thing here. There's a chance, and I don't know this for fact or not, but for an organization that talks a lot about Lasix to be using the Lasix, isn't there a chance this horse was bleeding down in Australia and now?
Oh, of course there is.
You know? So
there always is, absolutely.
I am not thrilled with the rest of this bunch.
Really?
I'm not. I'm really not, to be honest with you.
Okay. Do you know anything about anybody this horse ran against?
No, nothing. It's a complete, it is a complete guess. I assumed we were going to have some rain and there'd be a little give. I didn't think we were going to get this, obviously, or I would have had dirt pit. And I do apologize for that, but again, didn't look like we were getting buried with this thing, and this thing must have wobbled.
Moment.
I saw. This thing must have wobbled south because this is rough right now. So yeah, she's a little bit of a guess. I'll tell you this too. You know, with the blinkers on, she's going to get her ground. I know a great time, peaceful. I would be very surprised. They reach out for Luis Saez. I wouldn't be surprised if this filly was close and in the game early. Okay. And maybe that helps.
David Aragona made an interesting point about this horse. This horse might be a better dirt horse. Dams a half to Into Mischief and Beholder, and he said even Brissett made some comments that this horse might end up being a dirt horse. If the race should come off as it is pouring, there won't be many left, and Victory Kingdom, obviously a wise guy type horse, could be interesting. I don't get Peaceful at all. I thought she was probably the least likely winner of this race. She absolutely walked in the lead against inferior horse in her last race. What did I miss about her?
Well, I just think she's supposed to get a good setup behind a Great Time, isn't she? I mean, a Great Time's going to go.
Well, Introduced has also got more speed and a Great Time. They're both faster and better horses, right? What good setup is she getting?
I think she's sitting second or third to them.
Okay, and they're better horses, though. She'd have to pass better horses who are getting the same kind of setup, wouldn't she? We'll look at a Great Time's
I'm not
last
as
race,
convinced
actually,
as
while we're
you
talking
are
about
how good a Great Time is.
Okay, but what is good about Peaceful?
Well,
with unbelievably great trips, she's not getting particularly strong.
I think she has
figures.
a little more blue sky, doesn't she? Kariba came back and won the stakes race last time out. She came back and she dominated.
We disagree.
Slow pace. Yeah, we do.
I thought a Great Time could be forward in this race, and I think John Velasquez would recognize that. She obviously handled some give in the grounds. It was pouring during this race when she finished a solid third. I mean, these horses, Alejandro La Cash and Delika, they're better than these horses, aren't they?
Yeah, they're better than these, absolutely. But don't you also feel like the monsoon last time during that race kind of helped her a little bit? nobody really gained any ground except the second horse.
Well, the second horse did come from last, though, so I'm not sure. I don't know. She's run some good figures in her recent races. She's supposed to be forward in here. I thought she was just a very logical horse in this race. I don't think she's a big price. I don't know. And obviously, the going, we don't know how long this is going to keep up.
Correct.
But
That's
training.
I think when you go through the rest of these, it's really.
Well, I think Rose Flower. We'll take a look at her winning 3 races back. I know there's not much pace, but she handles softer ground. And, she closed at 7 furlongs in a monumentally slow-paced race this time. She should have probably won on December 7th. And what chance did she have in that Intercontinental last time?
None.
I mean, I think she's kind of the worst to beat in
None.
here, don't you?
She probably is. She probably is. It's amazing, though. You have to go back to France almost 2 years ago for her to find firm ground. She's caught giving the ground in all 6 starts since, 4 in the United States. Today will be number 5. Yeah, I mean, she beat Alejandra Lacash in the allowance race back in October.
Well, Lacash has improved since then.
She has.
But she ran well in there.
Yeah, she did. She did.
No love for Get Mother a Rose?
Nah. This is what I mean. This race, this is why I went
She
to
did get buried in traffic, Get Mother a Rose last time
This
out.
is why I went to the wild card. I'm just not thrilled with what I've seen from the rest.
Well, listen, I'm not. I don't really like the 8. I've got her 4th. She is a wild card, and that's fine. I get that. Yeah, this is a tricky race. I just agree. I think Rose Flower is the worst to beat in here on the turf, to be honest with you. I almost put her on top. I didn't like introduce to Dave as the favorite. David, I introduced is going to win this race in the dirt unless the 8 wins. I don't know, feels like it might be a match race.
Right. Yeah, you have a lot of horses that either haven't tried the dirt or didn't run particularly well on it. So.
All righty. Race number 8. Race number 8, Texas Swing runs back to the maiden race of the Tampa Bay Derby. He's an extraordinarily likely winner of this race. Now, we're both playing against this horse. I'm curious, why are you playing against this horse?
I have no real reason other than the fact that I wanted a horse. I have no knocks on Texas Swing. Okay. And this is an instance where I'm not certain how good he is. And he is going to be a short price today.
I'm not sure he is.
You don't think this horse is going to be prohibitive in here?
No. Because
Can I have a lunch on that?
Let's have a discussion of the race. We'll worry about lunches in a second. This horse, the workout reports are poor on this horse. This horse, I believe, was getting outworked by One-Eyed Jack. So workout reports, as you know, they influence the board.
They do.
And people who bet a lot of money look at workout reports. So I agree with you philosophically. Yes, I agree he's going to be in the even money range in this race. And he still may be. I'm not taking a big stand, but I'm a little when I hear
especially with Creative Style.
The reason I'm betting.
I think Creative Style is going to take money in here.
Okay. The reason that I'm picking against him is that I heard he's not working great, and I think that does matter. So, yeah, I'm concerned about him. I think he's going to be tough. And the other thing about him is he looks to be the controlling speed on paper, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. So that makes him tough. I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see what price he is. He might be right. He might go off at 4 to 5. I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Creative Style 3 to 1 more or less. If I'm seeing that right, I can't imagine where the money's going to go. I'd be so far if this horse is 3 to 2, 8 to 5. I don't think he's going to win.
I don't disagree.
I really don't.
No, I understand.
His last 2 races, his last 2 figures.
Your horse has a fast figure last time. Maybe your horse just turned his life around. I mean, your horse did run a fast figure in his second career start. He kind of fell apart for Jimmy Toner, but he ran last time. I think your horse is dangerous.
And a rare instance where the kitchen sink kind of worked. They gelded this horse before the turf race. He came back. He was second time gelding, first time on dirt last time with both the blinkers and as a gelding. And he ran, he completely woke up. He ran into well-meant 2-year-olds and 3 Technique and Sonneman to start his career. Right, he ran into Country Grammar, the Peter Pan winner. I just thought this horse made a lot of sense, especially if you think Texas Swing. And I did not know about the workout reports. If you think Texas Swing is vulnerable, I think
Texas Swing is vulnerable. The whole race becomes very much open. And I'm not taking a big stand against Texas Swing But based on the workouts, I think he could be a vulnerable favorite. That's why I picked against him, and I'm absolutely using your horse. We'll show you Danny California's last race, and we'll show you a stat for him. My problem with Danny California is, even under optimal circumstance, he ran a big race. He's still not that fast.
No, he's not.
And
he
does
got a perfect
have
setup
faster
last
back
time.
races, right? So Noda has very good numbers coming off wins, and in dirt routes he's very strong as well. He's 3 for 7. We'll show you the stat. 3 for 7 off of wins in dirt routes, and he did win quite easily last time. Honestly, I don't really see One-Eyed Jack, but maybe because he's out working next swing, maybe he's really improved.
And he's a fresh gelding, so maybe that helped his cause.
I'm not going to be shocked by any result, especially if the 2, it turns out he's not working well and not doing well.
I think the issue with Danny California that I have is last time, his edge kind of was the fact that he had won at 9, and he had won around 2 turns. B.B. Banker set the pace. He had never won going long. Blackjack Davy was making just his 3rd start. 6%. Had kind of fallen, you know what I mean? He didn't. Now, I'm not saying he's running against the 98 Breeders' Cup Classic in here, but the water's a lot deeper, and he has horses that...
It's a good pun. The water's a lot deeper.
He has horses that have had success going 2 turns and going... So he's facing a completely different kind of field in here today.
He is, but he's got a big experience edge on them.
Listen, I'm not going to be surprised if he wins.
I'm not going to be surprised with just about any result here, which is why I picked Will Sing for Wine. I'm not sure that Bill Mott didn't kind of give up on him as a dirt horse a little quickly. He comes off a 3-month layoff, and he ran in that Tap It to Win race. It was a stakes race where Tap It to Win ran him off his feet. Now, listen, he didn't run a step in there, but so what? He was coming off a layoff. He tried the turf with him. He didn't do much running at big prices in those races. But now he's back on a surface that he ran a good figure winning at Aqueduct, and he's going to be a big price. And I felt looking at this race like if the 2 is vulnerable, anyone can win this race.
Like you said
so
earlier,
I put him on top.
If you knew definitively the 2 was no good,
okay,
any result can happen.
We are now off the turf for all of the turf races on today's card. We are off the turf for all the races. So very quickly, we're going to take a step back and race number 3. Race number 3, Empire of War. Empire of War is a funny horse, the 7. I think he's a virtual cinch on the dirt. He was highly touted for Todd Pletcher on the dirt. He started his career here at Saratoga, and I think he ran 4th to Mark Valesky, the Mark Valesky horse, Network Effect.
Network Effect.
And he's supposed to be lone speed. So I thought, of what's left in here, I don't know who's going to stay in. It's hard to see too many of them staying in. I went 7-5-2 in here. The 2 is now out. So I'd be 7-5, but I think Empire of War is going to win pretty much a walkover in this race.
Yeah, I think we're both assuming that the old Phipps Janney horse, the pedigree on Century would at least you'd want to afford him an opportunity to run on a sloppy track with his pedigree. But yeah, I mean, Empire of War seems to have these over the proverbial barrel at this point.
And in the 7th race, I would be only 6s and 8s. The 8, what David Aragona thought was very valuable information, as usual from David. A man who has nothing but valuable information, and introduced, looks like the speed in a dirt horse. So it's all 6s and 8s. And
2 for 2 on the dirt.
It might be a match
Nothing much
race.
else to say, correct.
Unfortunately, rain that you never know up here. Sometimes you have terrible reports and it misses you. Sometimes it looks like it's going to miss you and it doesn't. That's the Adirondacks.
It's unfortunate.
It's the way it goes. Nothing you can do about it. Rainy day here in Saratoga.
Haven't had many. Haven't had any.
The good news is the crowd was at a minimum to begin with.
That's a terrible joke.
Well,
I don't like it.
Nobody has to walk around in the rain. All right. It was a bad joke. You're right. A lot of people would be very happy to be here in the rain, so I do apologize. You are 100%
a lot of people would love to have to make the walk I have to make to the car in this in about 8 minutes.
That's Anthony's way of saying if somebody out there has a has a golf cart, Andrew, and would like to give him a ride to his car, Andrew, Anthony would love that. Race number 9. We'll take a look at Malibu Mischief last race. I don't know. She's supposed to lose here?
No. How? I mean, you know what? She was one that it kind of looked like she didn't want to do this anymore. What do they say on Twitter? She wanted to go be a mommy. For a while, it looked like she just didn't want to do it. And she had some quirks in the past, but it got bad for 3 races in a row. 42 lengths. She stopped on the dime at 4 to 5, and then she was eased again. And then a little bit of a break. She comes back from Mike Maselli, fires 2 big shots. I mean, this race right here is going to see a slot. She looks too easy. She looks way too easy. She looks way too easy. Kendrick from the rail
Give
going
Anthony
5.5.
a single, please, guys.
Guys, so Malibu Mischief, Kendrick Carmouche, first time Rudy. We need a single. The public has not had enough singles from me today. Steve, bring it here, brother. Cameraman, zoom up. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I like when these horses that don't look like they want to do it anymore start to do it again. Now, we're going to talk about a horse that's even money, but I think you can have some confidence in here. And when the scratches come out, I think we're going to be left with a short field. And I do believe a lot of her, whatever competition she had as far as speed on the front end, if there was really any, I mean, she's fast, is going to be gone. Kendrick from the rail. I think she just says,
I assume
see you later.
that Robin Sparkles will scratch.
Off the debut
she ran
in the
so
slot.
well on the turf. I'm not sure that Robin Sparkles can handle the dirt, you know?
Okay.
I assume she'll scratch, and she ran so poorly in the slop. I'm not saying that. But it would, if she stayed, it would change the situation.
It would. I would imagine she's going to scratch so as well because it's just 2 weeks and she ran a 90 on the turf last time.
I do too, but she's not scratched as of yet.
Okay.
You think it's important to point out that if she doesn't,
listen,
the race is a little bit
opens
different.
the race up a little
Right.
more. Absolutely does.
Overheated ran her best turf race last time. Maybe she's improved.
That's what I was thinking
I
with
didn't
her.
think she was impossible. She tried to go a mile and 1/16 two back. I know it was a big speed track, but she's not a mile and 16 type horse. What about Big Benny's Tribute? I'm not her biggest fan. I didn't think she was totally impossible.
No,
but I
she's
guess
not
if the one has
totally.
to beat her,
Yeah.
then that just makes the one that much. I'd be more inclined to use Overheated as my other horse, assuming Ray leaves this horse in.
Yeah. I think it's, if the scratches pan out the way I think we both believe they will and Robin Sparkles comes out, man, Malibu Mischief is going to be awfully tough today.
We have had some very fortunate luck with the rain at this meet, but unfortunately, we did not have it today. But that's the way it goes in the greatest game played outdoors.
No question about it. This is the, you got to take the good with the bad. You got to take the bad with the good, right? And we've had a lot of good. I mean, again, 30 days until really something like this from the bell.
I like the rainy days in Saratoga sometimes, though. It's kind of fun. We have some updated scratches.
Okay, there we go.
Since we have a second, let's see if I can give some people some scratches that we got from the racing office. Okay, race number 2, the 4 and 6 are out. Okay, so right now, race number 2 is 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Okay.
Race number 5, you can scratch the entire one entry. You knew the 2B was out, and the 5. Jeremiah Engelhardt told me he was going to run dirty, and for some reason he scratched the second likeliest winner. 5, 6, and 7 are now apparently scratched. So that leaves Preamble and Duncastle, Outrageous Bet, and Outtell. So the plain 2, the 3, 4, and 8 apparently are left in the 5th race. The 6th race, the scratches are the plain 1, more Mango. The 1A is in. The 6, 7, 8, 9. The 8, was the 8 scratched before? They scratched an MTO? That's a little strange. So right now this race is 1A, 2 and 2B, 3, 4, and 5. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Race number 7, there are no scratches yet. And the only one we have scratched out of the 9th right now is the number 5, Saratoga Love. Just helping Johnny I out. We good?
It's very nice of you.
All right. You, to repay us for all this fun on a rainy day, head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, support racing in New York. Keep money in the game to support racing. We'll give you a free $25 play, as well as matching up to $200 of your initial deposit. Use the promo code Derby25. Head to NairaBets.com for more information. Also, $2,000 hit and split. Any and all people that hit the late pick five today through Naira Bets on the app only, you will share. A friend of mine, you took down a few dollars, almost $30 the last week. A friend of mine took down a third of it for $667 a couple weeks ago. So a lot is possible. Another reason to play through Naira Bets also. Another reason to play through Naira Bets is the Sunday contest, $250. And
I was just told that, and we got Saratoga live, of course.
yes, you were just told what?
I was just told Robin Sparkles will be running in the last race today.
Oh.
Robin Sparkles running in the last race today.
Okay, so that does change things a little bit. And I would say she's not